Old-fashioned oiled paper is a great way to add a neat and sort of vintage touch to any of your projects. And what it does is it makes paper both very, very durable and water resistant, but also it makes it tremendously opaque. And that's why they used to have oiled paper windows. Despite the name, it's not actually oil. It's a solvent-based coating of some sort. They probably would have used a lacquer back then. I'm going to use a polyurethane today. You can't use water-based poly. It just won't work. You've got to use the good stuff. And I keep my good stuff in here. Despite what it says on the can, that's my polyurethane. And it's thinned about 20% thinner to 80% poly. And I only do that simply because it sprays in my guns better. But I think for this project, the mixture is about right. Maybe 75 poly and 25% mineral spirits, but pretty close. The tools you need for this project are right out of his toolkit. You need your jar of poly to slop stuff on. You need a disposable razor knife or some sort of sharp edge scraper. And you need paper towels. You take your paper. And not every paper comes out as opaque. You might have to experiment. A piece of newsprint, for instance, would become very, very, very opaque. In this instance, I'm using some pastel colors because I want to put lights behind them and have them illuminate. So you take your poly, and you just schlop some on. Wearing gloves, spread it out over the entire surface of the paper. You're going to make a mess. You're just going to have to deal with that. Don't skimp, don't be too dry with your poly, because the whole point of this is to completely saturate the paper. You want it to soak up as much as possible. And then when you have, you'll probably find it's glued to the tabletop. That's where your knife comes in. Use it to lift a corner. Without wiping your paper down, flip it over. A little more polyurethane. Gotta make a bridge, buddy? At this point, you want to start wiping your poly off. Oh, nice bridge work. You don't want to see any gloss on your paper. You want it completely flat. So lift a corner, pick it up. Now you got to clean your table off because it will be saturated with your clear polyurethane. Back side of your paper down. Wipe it again. You'll probably end up doing this 4 or 5 times. Rotate your rags, paper towels, lift, wipe the top, lay it down. And there you have it. From this angle, you can clearly see how opaque the oiled paper is. In fact, you can actually watch it slide, if I can get it to move, over the top of the other one. You'll notice that I've got a blue spot on that one. Clearly visible through there. So this is a really neat way to add simulated windows. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put light behind them. And because it's oiled, I'll still get my color, but I will also, it'll act as a diffuser. It'll help spread my light out. I will hang this from a clamp vertically to dry. It will dry in whatever shape that you leave it in. So if you wanted to curl it into a tube, for instance, it would dry in a tube. And the paper, when it's all done, will have a, it won't be crinkly per se, but it'll be very, very stiff, much heavier paper. And creases are going to really show, so you'll have to be careful with it once it's hardened up. But yeah, that's how they would make oiled paper windows. This does a great job of illustrating the opacity, is that a word? Of the paper. So there is channel name there behind it. This is the oiled paper, it's still not dry yet. That's the standard paper. Same colors, one has been treated. One hasn't. It's neat stuff. I really hope you find a use for it. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your projects.